A whole batch of cup games thrust into action in this 7 o'clock window. Here in Kentucky, it's the establishment against the new kids in town. Tonight's match between Louisville City FC and Fort Wayne FC is presented by WDRB. Welcome one and all to the broadcast. My name is Mark Schotzer. I'm joined by former Manchester United goalkeeper Gary Bailey. Let's take a look at tonight's player profile presented by Commonwealth Credit Union. It's Kyle Adams.
What a player he is. Captain of the team, defender of the year in the USL. He's been capped at international level by New Zealand, and he is there all the time. Look at some of his stats, by the way. 3 out of 3 tackles won, 9 out of 13 deals, but he rarely misses a game. He's Mr. Reliable, and he's a fantastic leader of this wonderful Louisville City team.
And someone looking to find some of that consistency. Tate Healy scored his first professional goal last time out.
And what a good goal it was. He won it in midfield, so just besides the finish itself, he drove about 20 yards from midfield, got to the edge of the box, tucked it in the corner. That is a really class performance by the 22-year-old Tate Healy.
All right, let's meet the group that these two reside in. It's Group 4 here in the Prinx Tires USL Cup. It's 7 different regionalized groups between USL League One and USL Championship. The winner of each group makes it through, and 1 second-place team as well. Obviously, the odds of you making it as a second-place team is pretty low, so you kind of just want to go for winning the group, and there's some slim margin for error. But it does make for an exciting competition, especially for matches like this, where we get some games that we don't get to see during the regular season. So, pretty special opportunity for both Louisville City and, of course, for Fort Wayne to punch up. The Young Guns from League One take on the championship giants. Is there an upset in the works, or will Louisville City demonstrate their dominance? Lineups and kickoff are up next on ESPN+.
It's time to plan a family get-together between your family and the Corolla family. Toyota Corolla has set the standard for dependability and value for generations. That's why it's often passed down between generations. In fact, it's the most dependable in its class, built right here in the USA. And so is the versatile new Corolla Cross with plenty of cargo space. Now get 4.99 APR financing on a new Corolla, or a $209 a month lease, or lease this Corolla Cross for $259 a month. America drives Toyota. Let's go places.
Commonwealth Credit Union is proud to be the exclusive volunteer partner for the 2026 ISCO Championship, but we need your help. If you have a passion for golf and want an up-close experience on the PGA Tour, register to become a volunteer today. Volunteers will receive tournament merch, complimentary food and non-alcoholic beverages while they're working, and full access to the tournament even when you're not. To register for the 2026 ISCO Championship Volunteer Program, visit our website for more information. Commonwealth Credit Union. Here, we see you differently.
Big game tonight at Commonwealth Dodge.
And what a starting lineup we have. The Charger with 550 horsepower.
The new Ram, #1 in class for full-size trucks.
Last, the Durango. Power and craftsmanship. Score big at Commonwealth Dodge.
Wake up at Churchill Downs all week long. Derby with WDRB. WDRB mornings, live from the track all Derby week. We all have bad days.
Mom, the bus just left.
Little challenges can stack up fast.
Guys, come on.
When the dominoes start to fall, we're here to help stop the chain before it starts.
A little bit more busy there on 71.
Or a few school delays
15
today.
minutes worth of rain.
And when you start your day with WDRB mornings, you set yourself up for a good one.
Prinx Tires is proud to be the presenting sponsor of the Prinx Tires USL Cup. Built for practical performance and the long haul, Prinx delivers reliability for everyday drivers like you. Visit PrinxTireUSA.com to learn more. It's the Palace Lynn Family Stadium. Louisville City, the standard in the USL, across the board, are hosting a brand new club in Fort Wayne FC who have aspirations to be like Louisville City. Mark Schotzer, Gary Bailey with you here on ESPN+. As we get ready for this one to kick off, here are the starting lineups for the match, brought to you by Ford, building together. Starting off with the home team.
4 players remain from the team that beat Sporting Jacks. In other words, there's a whole changeover who are given the chance to shine in this cup match. Those that remain are the back 3 and Zach Duncan. Those that can shine are the likes of Danny Fondes in goals, his first start of the year, and Quincy Herman back after injury. And there's the shape, 3-4-3 for Louisville City.
Meanwhile, on the other side of things, this is what head coach Mike Avery's trotting out for Fort Wayne.
And they just have 3 changes to the side that beat Chattanooga last time out. Jeremy Garay comes in along with Lillian Ricole up front and Ian Abbey out wide on the left. Daniel Oyotunde drops to the bench, and both Clarence Overdore and Ryan Betcher not available. Big loss for this team. They'll have a 4-3-3 shape, and keep an eye on Tage Healy. He'll become a danger from that right-hand side, the number 11.
A lot of young players on this Fort Wayne team against a Louisville City side that is always so good at retaining a massive portion of their roster year to year, carrying the culture over from each and every season, which kind of gives you a head start on every single season, Gary. And it's the kind of thing that every club across the United Soccer League aspires to be like. So let's see what takes place here. You're watching round 1 of the Prinx Tires USL Cup. In this edition, it's USL League One side Fort Wayne and USL Championship juggernaut Louisville City. Mark Schoenster with you alongside me, former Manchester United goalkeeper Gary Bailey. Can't wait to see how these two mesh in the match. Obviously the first time they've ever played each other. Louisville City, long history in the USL. Fort Wayne, well, their history is about 4 games, so. Of course, they do have time in USL League Two prior to that, but as a professional club, that is about where it starts and stops. And they're going to have to deal with the press that Louisville City's going to throw at them. Gonna try to force these young bucks into making an error. Early whistle from our head official, Thomas Snyder. He'll be the one looking to keep the peace here today between these two sides.
This is a big challenge for Fort Wayne. I mean, you mentioned how good Louisville City are, but Louisville City's brought in 7 replacement players off the bench. Well, those 7 could all start in virtually every USL team, so it's not a weak Louisville City team. It's still incredibly powerful and a massive challenge for Fort Wayne.
Some more contact, and this time it'll be against Louisville City. So a free kick for the visitors. When it comes to approaching this USL Cup, Louisville City participated last year in the 2nd edition of the competition. And they went 3-1 and didn't make it to the knockout round. And so when I mentioned earlier that you've got 7 groups, 7 group winners make it through and 1 second place team, really you have to win the group, and it may just mean winning all 4 of your matches because the margin for error is so slim. And head coach, or interim head coach, Simon Bird said, look, 1 lost and not enough goals cost us. Every single game matters so much. And yeah, they're rotating a little bit here in this game, Gary, as you mentioned, but I mean, you got to rotate opportunities for guys and also manage for a busy week coming up ahead as we get a look at Simon Bird taking over the reins from Danny Cruz. And, well, he's kept this machine humming.
Certainly has. I think it's 6 wins, a loss and a draw from his 8 matches since he took over as interim head coach, and they've knocked out an MLS side in the Open Cup in that time. So I would say he's done a pretty fantastic job so far.
It's a switching of the roles here today, Gary, as far as in a cup match, because in that one they were the underdogs punching up to the MLS, and now they're the ones who assume the Goliath role here. Ball whipped inside, and it's wonderfully touched home. And just like that, the Standard and the USL take the lead here.
That's a good finish from young Brandon Days. He's turning out to be such a top-class player, the 17-year-old. The ball knocked in. Now, has it been given or not? Zach Duncan with the ball in. He gets the touch. Carl Adams is in an offside position, but I don't think he interferes. Nonetheless, it's a great strike and a good free kick. And it has been given by the looks of it, so well done there, Brandon Days. And Zach Duncan. Okay, well, the goal hasn't. Oh, okay, we've been fooled here. I was wondering why he didn't look like he had scored there, Brandon Days. When the score came up, I thought it had been given, but not so. So, and a little bit of an early scare for Fort Wayne.
And on the other side, recall. One-on-one with the keeper, and he skips it over top of him. Lilian Recall, the French striker, their first opportunity in this game.
That's incredibly good from one side where Louisville City nearly score right down the pitch. A simple ball straight through the middle. Should have been dealt with by the Louisville City defense. Let's have a look at that. Just a ball over the top here. And he just manages to keep his feet. Does recall and then bounces it into the ground over the goalkeeper. Brandon Day is caught out there at the back. So having praised him for nearly scoring at one end, he gets caught at the other. And do we have a shock on our hands?
Lilian Recall, the first-year pro out of the University of Central Florida from Paris, just 23 years old. Just put this entire competition on notice. Wow, what a start. And the ball's just been given away. And they're gonna have Recall chase after it. Maybe a little bit too physical there.
That's what you have to expect if you lose City. Fort Wayne are going to come and fight. This is their big game. You were talking about Louisville City and how excited they were when they took on Austin FC at home, playing up against MLS. Well, now, as mentioned, and you mentioned it, it's the other way around. You're going to get pushed and shoved, and they're going to battle and battle even more now that they're 1-0 up, Fort Wayne. What an incredible opening to this game.
And that just gives you such a jolt of energy and of belief because, look, you come in here, and we don't even need to talk about just the programs themselves, but if you're a League One team going on the road to play a USL Championship side, there's going to be that nerve. Like, obviously you want to go and improve yourself, but you're Mike Avery and this Fort Wayne side. Now there isn't any doubt that you believe that you can match up with these guys because you've just scored. You have the lead in the game right now.
It's just the way they scored. It was what you think the team would play as, like bodies behind the ball for Fort Wayne, trying to have a long ball over the top, and that's all it was, a long ball over the top. Beats Brandon Days. He can't stop Recall, and Recall goes on to beat Danny Fernandez. It was very straightforward football, and it's certainly caught Louisville City out.
I'll toss back to the captain, Kyle Adams, who now is tasked with making sure this whole group stays dialed in here on the pitch, now trailing to Fort Wayne. Kale try to maintain possession. The visitors able to knock the ball away. This is a Fort Wayne team that's had a pretty sparse schedule as of late. Over the last 4 weeks, they had just one match in build-up to this game, including 2 weeks to prepare for this match in particular, as it's given away and slotted by the keeper. Zach Duncan, opportunistic. It's a short-lived lead for a Fort Wayne. Louisville City finds an answer.
Well, that's the quality of the boys in purple. They came straight back. Great character. Good players as well. They find the gaps, and as you say, Fort Wayne didn't manage to hold on to that lead for too long, just a couple of minutes. Let's have a look at it again, trying to play out from the back. Ball gets nicked there by Zach Duncan. He reads it so well for that dispossess. Credit to Fort Wayne for trying to play football out the back, but against the Louisville City side, perhaps the option of just knocking it long would have been a safer one. And Zach Duncan makes them pay.
Zach Duncan, a player that they are really loving to have back in the fray of things after missing most of last season with an injury. It was hard work for him to rehab with the medical staff, and he had a bit of a wall for a while at about the 30 to 45 minute mark where he just got tensed up, ran out of gas, and he's recently started to break through that wall and is nearing 90 minutes fit. Now he's got his second goal of the season. Obviously one in league play and one here in this competition now. Here's a look at Mike Avery, who's experienced, well, a whirlwind of emotions here in the first 10 minutes of action. He mentioned that this team right now is an entirely different team from day one of the preseason. He's seen the level in competition and training rise every single day. He mentioned that they feel like a team now. I also felt like that last game against Chattanooga, their first ever win at the professional level, was good preparation for this match, as this one, after a block shot, tried to get sprayed over to Akale, and it's booted out. Babacar Niang trying to have a go at it.
Hey, when we're chatting to Mike Avery, he says that he knows Lou City very well because he actually coached at the University of Louisville. And he said he used to often come along here to Lynn Family Stadium to watch the boys in purple.
Speaking of Lynn Family Stadium, soccer season is here, and SeatGeek is the official ticketing partner of Lou City. Get all of your Lou City tickets and more from the #1 ticketing site. SeatGeek, your ticket to great seats.
There's one Solis, 21-year-old from Colombia. We just saw him a moment ago as Simon Bird looks on. A 6'6" or 6'7" Solis. He's huge number. He's going to have to be somebody that the Lou City defenders watch at set pieces.
Just a giant back there along that back line for Fort Wayne. Nothing else, he offers a fear factor for other teams when he pulls up. I sometimes have that effect when I show up just to a random park to play, Gary, standing at 6'6". They go, wait, I didn't realize we were playing with giants out here.
Until they see you pass the ball, then they stop worrying.
Yeah, then they go, oh, never mind. Not a serious player.
I'm just teasing.
Oh, man. There's always a little bit of truth in every joke, Gary.
Yeah, it's difficult when you're that tall as you are, and certainly as tall as Juan Solis says. It's very difficult to be good with your feet. Obviously, the shorter you are, the quicker you can move. Classic, of course, is the great Leo Messi. He's got that very low center of gravity, like the wonderful Diego Maradona used to have before him. And so the taller you are, the more difficult it is to play on the ground.
Amadou Dia slots it up ahead. This one driven across. Quincy Huerman. Talking about players returning from injury. He's another one of those guys for Lou City.
Ball down the line for Huerman. Gets it across well. Could he have pulled it a bit further back there? You could see that Chris Donovan was, 6 yards or so out, and instead it goes straight to the keeper. And this is a chance for Huerman, Donovan, Akale, Amadou Dia, Sam Gleedle, Babacar Niang, all the players who've come in, even Danny Fornes in goals, to try and stake a claim for a first-team spot.
Huerman jabbing by one player, couldn't get by the second. Duncan rolls this one back to Brandon Days. Adams launched this out wide to the right-hand side. Sam Gleedle on the ball. Just a mishap in that combination, and Fort Wayne will gratuitously take it. The USL on the CBS Sports Network kicks off the month of May with a championship clash of Eastern Conference powerhouses. Detroit City FC take on Louisville City FC at 6 p.m. Eastern on May 2nd. Catch all the action on the CBS Sports Network. Hey, Lou City, we know those guys. Akale. Always so slippery with the ball at his feet. Now Dia, who gives it away. Good work on the ball there from Javier Armas. It's been a really interesting week of preparation for Mike Avery and his side as they've gotten ready for this game against Lou City. He mentioned that just watching tape of this Lou City team has helped them learn a lot about themselves, because as we'll hold that thought for a moment, the home sider once again cutting forward, laid off to the right-hand side, and cleared away by the defender. It'll be a corner kick.
I think that was Chris Donovan who got in the center there. Rempel eventually with the ball cleared, but when Donovan got it, I'm thinking, have a shot. He tried to play the ball wide. I don't know if that was necessary from there. The number 9, he's such a good striker of the ball.
And for the first time this evening, we're gonna get a 5-5 corner kick. Nukwele Akale will be the one to whip in the cross here. Or so we thought. I'll take it short. Here comes the service now. One-timer. Walled away. Look at that sprint up the pitch. Really on recall. Given that option. Ball didn't get to him while he was making the run. Fort Wayne have successfully made it into the attacking half, and really they haven't spent a lot of time over here on this end of the pitch. Even though they scored a goal, that was done in a matter of moments.
Well, they must enjoy it, because I don't think they're going to get too many opportunities in Lou City's box. So right now they need that. The aim must be get the ball right into the box. You're not going to score obviously from the halfway line. Can you build it up? Can you get it wide? Can you whip it in the box? Can you get free kicks and corners? That'll be the challenge for Fort Wayne.
They'll take it forward here. They'll lift it forward. Searching for Healy. They'll fall over to Rempel. He couldn't quite corral that one. But as I was saying earlier, when Mike Avery and Fort Wayne were watching Lou City tape, he mentioned that it's been really fun to study them because they're all so connected. Everybody follows their cues in sync, and it's a great example of what buy-in and understanding looks like. And that's something that they're looking for as a team themselves on the pitch. It's sort of, it offers as a case point, like, this is what we're trying to work to, even if maybe our objectives in a game and what our cues are different. The fact that it's all done in unison is the important takeaway. This portion of tonight's match is presented by Toyota and the Kentuckiana Toyota dealers.
I guess we have to be fair to Fort Wayne. This is only, their 5th match in their professional career. They've had a couple of seasons at the semi-pro amateur level, but there's a lot to learn. So to your point, whatever they learn here today, they'll put it into action. Took them 4 matches to get a win, but in fact, all those 4 were away from home. Now this is the 5th one. It's going to be followed by 5 home matches. So with a draw and a win away from home and an experience here, however it goes today, they may be in a good position to go on a run in the next 5 matches at home.
Oh yeah, May is a big month for Fort Wayne, and it's going to be very exciting to see them have that home opener next weekend. And on the flip side, if you're Lou City coming into this game, one of the challenges is you've got to make sure that you give your opponent the respect that they deserve. And Simon Bird mentioned that they had conversations about it because obviously it's an important thing to touch base on. The expectation is they approach the game the same way they would approach any other match. Recall. Down the left touch line. Lilian Recall. Throws it to the top of the 18. And a one-time volley opportunity from Armas. Seen a lot of one-time volleys go much less successfully than that. Able to maintain possession despite it not being hit cleanly. Have some fallout behind the ball.
Yeah, just a clash of bodies there as they were going for the ball. Have a look. Now coming up there, there's the connection, maybe just a knee in the side, I think, of Tague Healy. And that can be very, very painful into the ribs or, yeah, into his hip.
Tague Healy, just 22 years old. Here's a fun stat for you, Gary. This year alone for Fort Wayne, they've had 13 different players make their professional debuts. Lou City has 18 players who are pro on their roster right now that played on the team last season for Lou City. So talk about contrast between not only, of course, the level difference between League One and Championship, but you've got this collection of mainly young college graduates as Dia sends in the cross. There were two different purple jerseys trying to receive it, but neither could connect.
Chris Donovan close again. He made the near post run. He literally would have only been a foot or so away from connection with his head. The ball from Amadou Dia, there he is coming in. He actually stretches with his foot and can't quite make a connection.
It'll be another fight corner kick. Akale once more from the right corner flag.
Now back to your point, so many of these Lou City players have been kept. They understand each other, and every year it's the same. They keep, I would say, 70 to 75% of their players. Some get old and age out. Some don't quite make the grade, but those who do remain, and then they build on that by bringing in new talent to add to it. And it's a formula that's worked well. They're twice back-to-back Eastern Conference Shield winners, set records last year in terms of points, etc. And it's a success formula that's happened year after year.
And they're trying to conjure up something else here. This one knocked out of danger. Fort Wayne back line at times just having to survive as this one bounces into the middle. Not out of the woods yet.
And that was Chris Donovan at the near post again, who was trying to get on the end of it. And they're claiming that from Amadou Dia that it was a corner for Lou City. But those balls whipped in. They're low and they're between goalkeeper and back four, and they're asking some serious questions of that Fort Wayne defense.
Two goals here in the opening 20 minutes of this match. Lilian Ricol getting it started early, and then just moments later, a response as this one trickles through, and the flag goes up. That one won't count. Zach Duncan, his goal did count though earlier to tie the game 1-1. Worth noting, in scouting out Fort Wayne, Simon Bird did say that they're a good team aerially, and it was a long ball over the top to find Ricol. Now, obviously not a set piece or a header going home, but able to catch Lou City napping for just a moment. Mentioned that they like to send it over top, and that's exactly what they did there.
Well, Bernd Shipman is doing the same here, and I think that's a sensible thing to do, because they conceded the goal by trying to play out from the back. They've been pressed so tightly by Lou City, who are very good at the high press. If that's the case, just play it along. You don't have to play pretty football here if you're Fort Wayne. This is a cup match. It's about getting through to the next round. Well, they are through. It's a different type of cup match, but it's about getting points to see you through to the quarterfinals. So they just want to get a win here today, and if they do, they might start to believe they could actually make it through. And that's not about taking unnecessary risks at the back. So if you have to play direct football a bit more often, then so be it.
Well, Gary, in your defense, when you only play 4 matches in a group stage, it sort of feels like a loss is going to be elimination anyway.
This is true. Even a draw, okay, if it goes to a draw, obviously we get a penalty shootout. If you win that, you get 2 points. So that might be okay, but 1 point or definitely none, and the chances of you making it are pretty small.
Kale trying to launch that over to the left-hand side. Watch the USL Championship in Spanish on 2DN8, the nation's leading Spanish language sports network. Go to USLChampionship.com for the complete USL TV listings.
Just to give you an example of how powerful Louisville City are in the last match against Sporting Jacks, and given that Sporting Jacks are in the USL a level higher than Fort Wayne, the expected goals was 2.29, so 2.29 for Louisville City and just 0.15 for Sporting Jacks. They only got 6 touches in Louisville City's box. Louisville City got 37 touches in their box. So Fort Wayne being under pressure is no disgrace. You know you're probably going to spend most of the game like this. But can you defend? Can you catch Louisville City on the counter? That's the big question. You know you're not going to get the same amount of ball as Louisville City do. It's just the way it is. But you can still win games by playing counter-attack football.
Well, think about it, Gary. The moment they conceded in this game was when it resulted from a rough pass. It wasn't even when they were defending. And so up to this point, you've held down the fort when Louisville City has actually had possession, had the ball. Feel good about that up to this point. Of course, it was 25 minutes into this game, and like you mentioned, that Sporting Jacks match, it took 97 minutes for Louisville City to score, but they did, and they got all 3 points in that game.
That was Jensen Wilson coming on as a sub towards the end. What a finish by him. Set up by Jake Moritz, one-touch pass there. And in fact, the 3 players they brought in up front was Carle Donovan and Quincy Herman, the 3 who are starting now. They brought them on in about the 60th minute or thereabouts, and that made a big difference to the match. They looked really sharp up front, Carle as well, and they all managed to open up gaps. And Jansen Wilson, in fact, sorry, it wasn't Quincy, it was Jansen Wilson was the 3rd one they brought on, and he got the goal.
Lofted ball, bounce all the way out, no harm there. Mike Avery, outside of just the tactics, talking about playing Louisville City, had only good things to say about him. He mentioned that they're the class of the USL and are aspirational for us from their awesome stadium, which, by the way, the stadium that they've got working there and are debuting next weekend, pretty good too. Then he mentioned the academy, obviously the team success. You want to reach that, and this game, in essence, will be a club measuring stick, where how do they fare against a team like Louisville City right now, and then you hope you get the chance to measure again in a year or two and see what the progress as a club has been like over that stretch of time.
Yeah, this is how you learn. If you're a team like Fort Wayne, especially a new team, you learn about each other all the time. You learn about opposition.
Akale skating through, lets it fly, and it's bending over top.
And in fact, chatting to Mike Avery, he was telling us that yes, they've played all their games away so far, but he said there's been a chance to travel, to get to know each other, as we see Muka Kale's effort. Just going over the bar once again. Got to keep it low and test the goalkeeper, especially bouncing the ball in front of a keeper, and sometimes you get a wicked bounce, but unfortunately that one just goes harmlessly over the top. But he was saying, we traveled, it's different and unique environments, different pitches we play on, different areas. We've talked, we've discussed it. It's been good for camaraderie, and to your point, a lot of learning taking place at the moment with these Fort Wayne players. But if they keep learning, they can make great progress.
Looks like we're going to be getting our first booking. And it'll be going to Huerman. Lindsey Huerman. The challenge here.
I don't know if let's have a look. They arrived pretty much at the same time. I don't think he was late with the tackle. I think it's just a collision of feet, and I think that's why he's arguing it. And Carl Adams come in to also argue. I think that was equally tough for both players. Both took a hit, both got to the ball at the same time. But there you go. Huerman on a yellow.
That yellow card presented by Alpha Energy Solutions. Quincy Huerman will now have to walk that line the rest of this match. Nearly 30 minutes in. Ball given away here by Fort Wayne. Gleedle up ahead to Dia. Amadou Dia zips this one inside, and it's booted out of harm's way by Thiago Dias. Play is going to stop. Advantage was played earlier, and now the first yellow card for the visitors.
Yeah, it had to be, having given Quincy Huerman one which I thought was touch and go. That was a very late tackle in midfield there. And referee quite rightly plays on and gives Louisville City the chance to create a good scoring possibility, then comes back and delivers the yellow.
So 1-1 your score line here as Michael Rempel goes into the books just moments after Quincy Huerman. That yellow card presented by Alpha Energy Solutions. That one definitely going off of Carlos Miguel Jr. last, so he'll be throwing for Fort Wayne. Carlos Miguel Jr. definitely not a guy who usually has played along the back line in his career, but he's already plugged in a couple times now for Lou City in that spot.
Yeah, you're right. He did against Lexington in the Cup and in the last match as well against Sporting Jacks. One of the reasons that Simon Bird said he likes to play him there is he's so good at playing out of the back. He's more of a midfield player. He's got that ability to come out of the back with the ball and pass it and open up gaps and break lines. Maybe not as good a defender as someone like Sean Toach, who's not available at the moment, or Josh Jones, but certainly very, very good at playing out from the back three.
Select is proud to be the official match ball supplier of the USL Championship and USL League One. From the grassroots to the pros, Select is there every step of the way. Visit us.select-sport.com for the latest Select products, specials, and more. Select, the player's choice. Here's Sam Gleedle. Rushing down that right-hand side. He'll feed it out wide. Blue City once again try to knock on the door. Mukwele Akale will tap it back. Ball trying to be sifted forward. Kyle Adams will try to track this one down, but certainly can't get there in time. Well, there's an example where you have a guy like Carlos Miguel back there, so composed with the ball at his feet. It's sprayed out at the top. Going in nobody's direction, at least not accurately.
He's got to be happy, hasn't he, Mike Avery? You're half an hour into the match and you're level. I think if you'd have said that to him at the beginning of the game, he would have taken it, because there's always the fear that Lou City put 2 or 3 past you and the game is virtually over. This game is really on.
Ref blows a whistle. It's going to be a free kick. Very close to goal. Juan Solis pleading his case.
Probably hoping to plead his case he doesn't get a yellow. I don't think he's going to get one. Let's have a look. Does he get the ball? Don't see much connection with the ball, to be honest. But either way, it's in a dangerous position now. Do they try and put pressure on Bernd Shipman, Lou City, by just hitting the ball at the keeper? Or are they going to try and go over the wall, and which is going to be difficult because you've got Juan Solis at 6'7". I think maybe the aiming for the keeper side is an easier alternative than going over the wall.
As a keeper, I wonder this, because I don't know how often it's actually a pertinent question, but which guy, where do you want him positioned in that wall? Because look, he's a whole head and shoulders taller than everybody else.
Well, they've got him in the middle so that he can, because that's probably where the ball's going to go over if it bends towards the top corner, because they're going to put a right foot whip on it. But now have a look at Lou City. They've got 3 players. They can't be next to the wall, but they're a yard away. Now, if you're a goalkeeper, if that ball's hit at the 3 players, and let's say it's at Zach Duncan in the middle and he gets out the way, if you're Bernd Shipman, it's very difficult. And you've got 2 of your own players there as well. You might not see that ball till it gets past you. So again, that would be what I think would be the best option for Carlos Miguel with his right foot. Aim for the 3 Lou City players and see if that confuses the keeper.
Free kick for Lou City, brought to you by Fifth Third Bank. Let's see what they can craft up here. It is pretty close to goal. Wind up effort, punched away by Shipman. Carlos Miguel Jr. has a lash at it.
That's a decent strike, but he's gone high. I was hoping he'd go through the wall, make it difficult for the keeper. Don't know if he gets a touch or not, Bernd Shipman, but it's not given. It's given as a goal kick, but still not a bad effort there from Carlos Miguel.
Well, one thing that's undeniable is that it dinged the crossbar. Once again, that Louisville City pressure paying dividends. Play will go on. Akale. And he draws a free kick. Javier Armas, once again, making his opinion pretty evident there.
A look of innocence. But it definitely seemed to be a hold on Akale because he tried to spin and couldn't. This is the pressure they're applying, causing fouls and free kicks in and around. Let's have a look. He goes there and there's a, he's got a little bit of his shirt and he's got a little bit of his pants as well. So it wasn't a long tug, but it was twice, and you're not going to get away with that, surely.
Another free kick opportunity for Louisville City, brought to you by Fifth Third Bank. Akale and Miguel by the ball. Mukweli Akale has a go himself. This one's claimed by Shipman.
A decent pair of hands from the goalkeeper there. The ball must have gone slowly over the wall. Sometimes if the wall's tall, you've got to chip it over. You can't drive it over, and that just gave Shipman time to get across and make a fairly straightforward catch.
Solis rolling it back to Shipman. Down the field it goes. What a lovely touch there by Recall, but he's offside.
And again, just looking at the time, 36 minutes in, and this is not as straightforward for Louisville City as their fans might have hoped. And certainly in the last match for Fort Wayne against Chattanooga, they went 1-0 up in the first minute thanks to Tague Healy. Then they defended really well for the rest of the match. They had a lot of pressure come from Chattanooga Red Wolves, and they didn't bend, and they walked away with the 3 points. So they know how to defend, and very impressed with them so far. And in fact, the goal itself was just trying to play too much out of the back. Other than that, they've been very tight.
That one ended up being harmless there on the cross.
I was going to say that doesn't help as well if you lose City putting in a bad cross there that goes way over everybody's head. Sam Gleedle, not like him. He's a quality player, yeah. He's a bit annoyed with himself.
Soccer season is here, and SeatGeek is the official ticketing partner of the USL. Get all your USL tickets and more from the #1 ticketing site. SeatGeek, your ticket to great seats. Talking about Sam Gleedle, 3rd year with Louisville City, and he's a guy who had 2 goals, 3 assists last season. Fighting to earn himself some minutes here this year. 2 starts coming into this game in league play and getting his 3rd.
This is an important game for Louisville City in terms of scoring goals. You mentioned the point about getting lots of goals is what, or not getting lots of goals is what knocked them out last year when they had 3 wins and just the 1 loss. They should have gone through. The goal tally wasn't as high as it needed to be, and if you look at what's coming up, the remaining 3 matches in this tournament: Union Omaha away, never easy on the road, Detroit City away, and then Lexington home. Those are all tough matches.
Yeah.
So if there's one match you would look at and go, you know, if we could get 3 or 4, this would be the game. It certainly is this one here, Fort Wayne. And it's going to take a big rest of first half and second half for Louisville City to be able to achieve that.
Adams throwing it out to Dia, who will poke it along. It's too far ahead of Quincy Huerman. That front 3 for Louisville City, it's tight competition for those 3 spots. They've got about 7 valid options in those 3 positions, all fighting to be in the starting 3 clump that they start in their 3-4-3 shape. And Simon Bird said you have to set the expectation with the group, which is that if you play well, you keep your spot. Now, obviously, you get into a cup competition like this, and it's a chance for some guys to rotate in and prove themselves. But look, he's got a problem, which is a good problem to have, that you have a lot of good options there, and it's a problem that they wanted to have. So it was very intentional in their roster construction this offseason.
Tola Shawanne's done well, scored a few goals in the cup and one in the league. Ray Serrano has been good early on, just gone off the ball a little bit, but first couple of games he was sharp. And I tell you who's a surprise addition is Evan Davila, who was man of the match last game against Sporting Jacks. Hadn't seen him play that well. And of course Jansen Wilson, who to me is absolute quality. So to your point, 4 players there who played in the last match and were influential, and you've got the front 3 now of Akale, Donovan and Human also battling out.
And one of them trying to service in something nice there. Not out of the woods as it's deflected out of bounds. It'll be a corner kick. Lou City continuing to knock on the door.
Quincy Herman trying to claim a penalty there, but I don't think the referee's in the least bit interested. It did seem like a good chance when it came into the box, right in that danger area on the 6-yard line or thereabouts. And there's been a few of those good balls in that. There you go, Amadou Dia trying to get there first, and then here's Sherman, and then let's have a look here. Does he get the feet collide? Hard to see.
A lot of space here, well read by the goalkeeper. Danny Fondes screaming off his line. You see the camera panning and you're expecting maybe to see another defender back there, and lo and behold, Danny Fondes, the red alarm went off.
I think he was getting bored. He's hardly touched the ball. He's probably hovering around the halfway line, just trying to keep in touch with the rest of the game. But that is really good goalkeeping there, because he was through, was a Fort Wayne player, and there was nobody back there to defend. So if it wasn't for the goalkeeper, it would have been a one-on-one situation.
Danny Fondes, longtime player for this Lou City team, getting his first start of the season here in 2026. Had 5 appearances for the club last season. Solis slides it out to Rempole, and Fort Wayne once again with a rare trip into the attacking half. Ref says that's all fair contact there. There's another element to this whole we're learning storyline here for Fort Wayne, Gary. We're talking about them learning different venues, learning what it takes for them to look good on the pitch as a team. And another thing they're still learning is what is the best 11. Mike Avery's still tweaking with that lineup game by game. This is another opportunity to see a different configuration of guys out there. You mentioned especially Ryan Betcher missing. And it's a chance for a guy like Jeremy Garay to get his first start. Ian Abbey getting his first start as well. Amador missing as well, so it's
Amador, James Musa,
yeah,
Briscoe. So there's a key players for Fort Wayne, but that's part of the nature of football. You're going to have players out for periods, and obviously Fort Wayne don't have the backup and the money to have the depth that the Lou City has. But you have to work around it. And again, given that they've played every game away from home, and what I've seen, in the last match against Chattanooga and here, it's impressive by Mike Avery to get them playing this well so quickly into their new pro season.
Well, not only playing well, but playing well in 2 separate shapes, because by necessity they had to shift things around as this one trickles over to Huerman. Plays it to Dia. Lifted ball. And just hitting the eject button there is Michael Rempole. Better safe than sorry.
Good play down the left, Quincy Herman. The timing of this absolutely perfect. Amadou Dia's ball in. It's got a lot of floating height in it. It doesn't really give Aquala, he's not the tallest. Aquala doesn't give him a good chance. Maybe he should have whipped that in. But maybe they can, Aquala now can whip it in from the corner.
Fight by corner kick. Ripped inside. And recall, I think for a moment there, he's trying to dribble it away as there is a player down for Louisville City. Service chested down by Dia. Amadou Dia. Couldn't get by his defender, JP Jordan.
Wow, there was a lot going on there. Kyle Adams with that header from the corner at the near post. What a good header it was. That looked to be either going in or causing all sorts of problems. And Amadou Dia had a chance to shoot as well. So a couple of opportunities for the boys in purple. Just can't get that breakthrough again against the resolute Fort Wayne defense.
So as we hit nearly 45 minutes transpired. We're still here at 1 apiece after 2 goals were scored in the opening 10 minutes of the match. Just 3 minutes apart between Lilian Ricol and Zach Duncan as we get stoppage time presented by the Louisville Muhammad Ali International Airport. Refs have added 2 minutes to the 45 minutes that we're always allotted with.
There's been a few bumps and bruises in this match. I think it's a fair challenge coming in there from Javier Armas. Wins the ball clearly. And as we said earlier on, they're going to be physical, Fort Wayne. This for them is the equivalent of a cup final, going to Lynn Family Stadium and facing Simon Bird's Louisville City. And they're going to put everything into this match, you would think.
Getting back up on his feet is Papa Carnier. Taking the contact there in the air from Javier Armas. Well, a whole minute has transpired of the 2 minutes tagged on, and we haven't played any, so we'll see exactly how long this clock will roll before we get that halftime whistle.
I'm not quite sure what the discussion is. Maybe there's something about concussion protocol and Niang needs to come off. Both coaches are having discussions with the, yep, he's come off from the sidelines. I think that was what it was. Mike Avery insisting that Niang must come off in order to get, well, because he's had treatment for a head injury.
Rempel slides it out to the left-hand side. Jack Thomas. Play back in centrally for Armas. Rushing forward is Jordan. JP Jordan. Tussling. Rolls it back to Abbey. Armas curling ball. Was fishing for Ricol. And nodded out for a corner kick.
That's a good ball in from Javier Armas. Just got the shape of it. It was bending in towards Ricol. And good defending from Louisville City in the end, but got some quality moments coming from this Fort Wayne side.
Does the sun being in your eyes ever become a problem as a goalkeeper, Gary? Because it looks like Danny Fonda is maybe having to deal with it here.
Paolo Del Piccolo, they're having a big argument with the 4th official, but yeah, it can be. I think what's more of a problem for Danny Fonda is more than the sun in his eyes is how many bodies are around him as a goalkeeper. You can't really come for the ball easily when there's tons of players. Your own in front of you as well, all blocking that space. So look at the numbers at the back post. And then they've got a 6'7" defender in there as well.
Yeah, by the way. Service lifting across, nodded down. Great save from Danny Fondes. Flying across his line. And keeping this at 1-1 as the halftime whistle sounds.
That was a really good header coming in there and a fantastic save from Danny Fondes, who has very little to do all match. To his right-hand side, great reflex response. And that was nearly Fort Wayne 2-1 up, and it just shows you how well they've played first half, Fort Wayne. Lots of work for Louisville City to do second half if they want to win this one.
And with that in mind, both sides will go to the tunnels, or the comparison to that, they're going to the locker rooms. It's 1-1 your scoreline between Lou City and Fort Wayne. 45 more minutes coming up after this halftime break. We got some content coming up your way in the meantime here on ESPN+.
Commonwealth Credit Union is proud to be the exclusive volunteer partner for the 2026 ISCO Championship, but we need your help. If you have a passion for golf and want an up-close experience on the PGA Tour, register to become a volunteer today. Volunteers will receive tournament merch, complimentary food and non-alcoholic beverages while they're working, and full access to the tournament even when you're not. To register for the 2026 ISCO Championship Volunteer Program, visit our website for more information. Commonwealth Credit Union. Here, we see you differently.
Decisions are made every day affecting our economy, tourism, and how we get around.
See this building behind me at 4th Street and Liberty? That's going to be a brand new JW Marriott.
At WDRB, we're sure to follow everything that happens in Kentucky and southern Indiana.
Farmers from all over the world, Australia, China, Sweden, Switzerland. We have fans from all 50 states and 50 countries.
So whether it be a big hotel announcement or a large event that affects a smaller business, WDRB has you covered. Decisions are made every day affecting our economy, tourism, and how we get around.
See this building behind me at 4th Street and Liberty? That's going to be a brand new JW Marriott.
At WDRB, we're sure to follow everything that happens in Kentucky and southern Indiana.
Farmers from all over the world, Australia, China, Sweden, Switzerland. We have fans from all 50 states and 50 countries.
So whether it be a big hotel announcement or a large event that affects a smaller business, WDRB has you covered.
America drives Toyota.
The #1 selling retail brand for the past 14 years.
Leading the way, Toyota Camry, America's best-selling car.
Now it's 100% hybrid with more standard power, better handling, and available all-wheel drive.
This Camry XSE gets 47 mpg, and it comes with a 12.3-inch touchscreen.
And Camry's built right here in the USA.
Get a new 26 Camry with 4.99 APR financing, or lease this Camry for $289 a month.
Toyota, let's go places.
You're watching the Prinx Tires USL Cup here on ESPN+. This matchup between Lou City and Fort Wayne, all tied up at 1 apiece. Mark Schoenster, Gary Bailey with you here on the broadcast. If you're wondering, what is the Prinx Tires USL Cup? It is different from league play. So we've got a nice explainer here for you to dive into so you can understand all the rules that comes with this competition.
When Hartford Athletics' Adrian Deespace scored in the 83rd minute against Rhode Island FC, it began a furious finish to the 2025 USL Cup group stage finales. Deespace's goal kept Hartford alive in the race to advance in the competition as a wild card. Less than 10 minutes later in Detroit, Matt Sheldon capped Detroit City's 3-0 win over Westchester SC, taking that wild card away from Hartford. Minutes later in Kentucky, Louisville City's Jake Morris scored twice in added time to defeat Lexington SC 2-1. Louisville was now the owner of the wild card, but not for long. Back in Pawtucket, Hartford outlasted Rhode Island in a penalty kick shootout. Hartford Athletic reclaimed the wild card spot that two other clubs held for mere minutes. So how did we get here? Well, after 4 group stage matches, Hartford Athletic and Louisville City were tied with 9 points. The first tiebreaker, total goals. Hartford scored 9, Louisville had 8. And that wild card spot launched Hartford's run to the USL Cup title. This year's Cup promises even more drama. 42 clubs in the USL Championship and League One will form 7 groups filled out by region. Each club will play 4 group matches, and when the dust settles, the 7 group winners will advance along with 1 wild card team, not 2 wild cards like last year. The remaining 8 clubs will be drawn into 4 quarterfinal matches with 1 stipulation. The wild card cannot be drawn against its group winner. The 4 quarterfinal winners will then be drawn for the semifinal round, with the 2 finalists drawn to determine the host for the Prinx Tires USL Cup final.
doesn't care who you are or why you hurt, but pain can be mastered if you know the way. Fight back with Tiger Balm's legendary herbal power. Trusted for over 100 years, our proven blend of camphor, menthol, and essential oils tames pain with the strength and speed of the tiger, so that you can rise above pain and get back to living. This is the way of the tiger.
Prinx tires in the USL help soccer journeys everywhere to drive harder. From city playgrounds to suburban sidelines, from early mornings to late nights, from fun with friends to winner takes all, from the biggest fan to the biggest heart. And at every turn, Prinx tires will be there for the long haul.
Toyota Tacoma has been the #1 selling truck in its class for the past 21 years. You want to know how they stay #1?
You give Tacoma a more advanced powertrain. This hybrid iForce Max delivers 326 horsepower.
Tacoma's off-road capabilities are better than ever. And you've got an available 14-inch touchscreen.
And Tacoma has the best resale in its class.
Get 4.99 APR financing on a 26 Tacoma or a $299 a month lease.
America drives Toyota.
Let's go places.
Back here for halftime between Louisville City and Fort Wayne FC. It's 1-1 right now, Gary. Mark Schoenster with you as well. And I just said Gary Bailey, former Manchester United goalkeeper, for those who don't know. We're trying to get you through this halftime here as the second half is still in the loading zone. So let's give you games that are coming up after this one. Here are some of the first matches to look at. I mean, I think the first one very clearly is that Tulsa versus One Knoxville game, just because One Knoxville pulled off the big upset in the Open Cup, beating DC United, the MLS team. Now can they do it against the USL Championship team in FC Tulsa? Who's to say? Outside of that, I'm always curious about the different League One versus Championship games, but even then, I could break a rule. OC versus El Paso is interesting.
There you go. OC top in the West, El Paso in third position, but top goal scorers in the USL with 16 goals. OC, I think, have conceded only 3, or is it 4? They have the best defense, and so it's the best defense versus the best attack.
And then some of your late night matches, Sac Republic and Spokane Velocity, two teams that really are standard carriers in their respective leagues. Of course, Championship for Sac Republic, USL League One for Spokane Velocity. And then very interesting game between Las Vegas Lights and Athletic Club Boise. Boise being a brand new team, but with a great roster. Now, we're going to step aside again. When we come back, we're going to help you get to the finish line into the second half of action here on ESPN+.
It is halftime in the Prinx Tires USL Cup. Time for some of the headlines for this week. I'm Dan Lucas inside the USL studio. Corey Bennett of Colorado Springs scored 2 goals against Monterey Bay in Week 7 of the USL Championship. That's 6 goals for the season, the Golden Boot lead through 7 games, and that total matches the season high for an individual player from the Switchbacks in 2025. In League One, AC Boise's first home victory of the season was a dominating 4-0 performance against Westchester SC. Dennis Kostashin climbed within a goal of the leader in the Golden Boot race with a pair of goals. He's now scored 3 times in Boise's past 2 games. And Boise played a big part in a huge attendance week for League One in Week 7. More than 22,000 fans total. Boise led the way with 7,204. And Portland Hearts of Pine close behind, 6,033. If those 2 clubs were in the USL Championship, Boise would rank 6th in average attendance through 7 weeks. Portland would rank 8th. Upcoming national broadcasts for both the Championship and League One. Detroit City and Louisville City. Boise hosts FC Naples, and Richmond hosts Charleston in the Prinx Tires USL Cup. All 3 matches are on the CBS Sports Network. Well, the second half is getting closer. Let's get you back out to your match.
Relax and let Kroger Pickup handle your grocery shopping this week. We start with only the freshest items, then choose your favorites, carefully pack everything up, and load it right into your trunk, so you can feel confident it's what you ordered. Fresh groceries your way with Kroger Pickup and Delivery. Get free delivery during online deal days, plus $30 off your first online order. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
This new Tundra is amazing. It's rugged and capable.
Designed, engineered, and built right here in the USA.
And Tundra is more powerful and more fuel efficient.
The iForce Max hybrid powertrain delivers 437 horsepower.
And with the multi-terrain select, it automatically adjusts the engine throttle and traction.
Now get $3,000 customer cash on a new Tundra, 2.99 financing plus $1,000 APR cash, or this $439 a month lease.
America drives Toyota. Let's go places.
Relax and let Kroger Pickup handle your grocery shopping this week. We start with only the freshest items, then choose your favorites, carefully pack everything up, and load it right into your trunk, so you can feel confident it's what you ordered. Fresh groceries your way with Kroger Pickup and Delivery. Get free delivery during online deal days, plus $30 off your first online order. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
It's time to plan a family get-together between your family and the Corolla family. Toyota Corolla has set the standard for dependability and value for generations. That's why it's often passed down between generations. In fact, it's the most dependable in its class, built right here in the USA. And so is the versatile new Corolla Cross with plenty of cargo space. Now get 4.99 APR financing on a new Corolla, or a $209 a month lease, or lease this Corolla Cross for $259 a month. America drives Toyota. Let's go places.
Prinx Tires is proud to be the presenting sponsor of the Prinx Tires USL Cup. Built for practical performance and the long haul, Prinx delivers reliability for everyday drivers like you. Visit PrinxTireUSA.com to learn more. All right, let's take a look at the highlights for the first half of action here. Starting off real early in this one, Javier Armas with the long ball to Lilian Rico.
Right over the top, Brandon Days loses his footing and he finishes it off, does Lilian Rico, by bouncing it over the goalkeeper into the ground and over the body of Danny Fondes for that early and shock lead.
He gives that 1-0 advantage to the USL League One side, the brand new USL League One side, but it was a lead short-lived.
Literally 3 minutes trying to play out the back Diash there. Zach Duncan reads it perfectly, just puts it past Bernd Shipman. And literally within a couple of minutes, they've lost that lead, but they defended it throughout the rest of the match to take that draw into halftime.
Let's take a peek at the halftime stats here. As you see, as you would imagine, Louisville City with more of the shots, but ultimately Fort Wayne holding their own up to this point.
Yeah, 2 shots each on target, 50-50 possession. Not much to choose from them. XG 0.58 for Louisville City, 0.29 for Fort Wayne. So again, not a huge amount of difference. Certainly Louisville City had a lot more touches in the opposition box, more passes in the final third, more crosses. They had more of the match. They're in for a fight here. They're sitting at 1-1, and Fort Wayne in that locker room right now must be believing that they can leave Lynn Family Stadium with a draw or even perhaps a win.
The elephant in the room will definitely be those talents looming on the bench for Louisville City, and if and when some guys like reigning USL Championship Player of the Year Taylor Davila makes an entrance, if this game is still drawn and you're thinking, all right, I guess we just got to pull out the big guns and get the job done.
Yeah, Jansen Wilson, who scored the fantastic goal last week against Sporting Jacks. Tola Shawamni's been scoring. Ray Serrano. Oh, fantastic options off the bench. And in fact, maybe they've already made a change, Louisville City.
Well, it's one of those names you just mentioned, Gary. Jansen Wilson making his way on for Quincy Huerman. Huerman still working his way back to full fitness, so Wilson will come in and as you mentioned, put in quite the shift last game against Sporting Jacks, and we'll be looking to have a similar impact in the game here this evening. And also, Manny Perez making an entrance to the game. Such a talented player, Perez. 27 years old, his 5th year playing for Louisville City total. Left and came back from Denmark in 2024. Michael Rempel drags this one back to Juan Solis. As once again, we welcome you to Lynn Family Stadium on ESPN Plus. My name is Mark Schoenster. I'm joined by former Manchester United goalkeeper Gary Bailey. And what is an exciting match so far between the USL Championship side and the USL League One side. Louisville City done a lot of winning throughout their history in the professional ranks of the United Soccer League. Fort Wayne have won a single game in their history in the professional ranks of the United Soccer League. But hey, history doesn't really matter that much once you get to the pitch for 90 minutes. Of course, it can help influence what's going out on the pitch, but there is no pre-built advantage in the rule set as far as a team that's won a lot more than another team. So you always gotta appreciate when a game gets more plucky like this. It does well for both teams because obviously you get the confidence boost for Fort Wayne that you're dancing with Louisville City up to this point. But look, every tight game with some tension and stakes is also good for Louisville City as well.
Well, it's certainly building up that battle for places, and I like the fact Simon Bird's made 2 changes. He's basically said, look, I'm not happy. I think he's taken off Sam Gleadle and the right wing back and brought on Manny Perez. Quincy Herman perhaps carrying limited minutes, but you know, you're certainly showing players that, okay, well, if you can't do the business for me, I've got other options on the bench. And they have plenty more of those options. So that rivalry, that battle for places at Louisville City is what's going to drive the team to further success.
So it is not 1, not 2, but 3 changes, Gary, for Louisville City. I already mentioned Jansen Wilson on for Huerman, Manny Perez on for Sam Gleadle, and last but not least, Taylor Davila on for Zach Duncan.
Oh, wow. Well, we're just picking them up as we see them on the pitch, and that's even better from Simon Bird, because that really is saying to the team, you know, if you can't do the job, then I'll get players in who can. And it's always been the case. Danny Cruz is very similar. He would also make big changes at halftime if he felt the team weren't achieving what he wanted.
I mean, you saw in that last game against Sporting Jacks where at one point in time he just fully reloaded the front 3 all at the same time.
And it worked. They got the goal from Jansen Wilson in the end.
Manny Perez, always so good with the ball at his feet. Look at Solis making a run forward. An option in the box to cross to. And they'll send it his direction. Trickles to the right-hand side. Abbey to Armas. It was always rising.
Some very neat play there from Fort Wayne there. The way they built it up, Take Healy in midfield just turning and playing it long down the left-hand side. Ball gets whipped in. Some nice moments. Armas there has a shot at the end, which unfortunately is over the crossbar. Always come back to that same bugbear, is if whenever I see strikers shoot, just get it on target first and foremost. It's not about power. You can get deflections, you can get goalkeepers unsighted. The moment you balloon it over the bar, keeper, in this case Danny Fondes, has nothing to do. There's no threat to him whatsoever.
Fondes will launch this one down the field. And Abbey will recollect for Fort Wayne. Pretty positive to start here this second half, the first few minutes for Fort Wayne. Getting the ball back and once again pushing it forward. Solis poking it to Armas. He has to do some backtracking. Parking there is Taylor Davila. And she can get involved into this match. Sliding challenge here from JP Jordan, and The yellow card is actually going to be given, though, to Amadou Dia. Looks like JP Jordan's trying to demonstrate some evidence here.
Amadou Dia doesn't seem that impressed. I think he feels it was a 50-50, but if he's late, and let's have a look, is he? Yeah, he's late and the boot's up. In fact, he's very lucky that it wasn't more than that. When that boot is that high and you don't get the ball, that is red card territory. Amadou Dia, lucky man there.
That yellow card presented by Alpha Energy Solutions. Amadou Dia into the books. And yeah, I think exactly what's happening there is JP Jordan pulling up his shirt and going, look at this mark that just got left on me. This portion of tonight's match is presented by Toyota and the Kentuckiana Toyota dealers. Bernd Shipman will be the one to restart this one. Veteran goalkeeper from Germany, though has experience with the Philippine national team, so one German parent, one Filipino parent. You always get more in that of at the national team level these days, where you just got these guys who have to make that decision. As this cross goes inside, and a diving header. Great defensive work.
That is good defensive work. Chris Donovan's a fantastic header of the ball, and to beat him in the air and stop him from scoring, good defense from Fort Wayne.
Well, it's certainly been brave for 50 minutes from the visitors. And another foul is going to be called here. Oh, I was going to let it play on, actually. This one rolling through, trying to find Donovan. Bernd Shipman, once again, recognizing the danger here.
That's brave goalkeeping, absolutely fantastic. But let's just go back to this Amadou Dia. Look how high his foot is there. That's a red card for me. Now, obviously, a referee doesn't get the chance to see it in slow-mo and gives the yellow. I'm not picking on the referee's side. There's that head. Absolutely fantastic.
I'd say there's no VAR either way.
Yep.
In both.
If there was, I think that's a red card.
Yeah, you get another chance to look at that and get to see the proof in the pudding.
And I think that's what JP Jordan was saying to the referee as well. If it's that high and it's getting me in the stomach, then surely it's not just a yellow.
Can't watch the match? Turn on Sirius XM FC 157, North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk, including USL All Access on Tuesday nights. Plus your live matches from the USL, MLS, Premier League, and more, all on Sirius XM FC 157 and the Sirius XM app. This one will roll all the way back to Danny Fondez, getting his first start of the season as one of the long-term players on this Lou City team.
Amadou Dia there tries to flick on, tries to find Jensen Wilson, but not the best of flicks. Amadou Dia struggled this match a little bit early in the first half. Some of the crosses weren't great. That tackle a few minutes ago, lucky not to be worse than a yellow. So he's battling to get going, and that's the problem when you don't play regularly. Jake Morris has been in that wing back role a lot of the time, and Amadou Dia getting a rare chance to start.
And that's the deal, though, for a lot of these guys. It's a prove-it game for the players getting more minutes for this Lou City team. Simon Bird mentioned that, not to mention, these are guys we value a lot. I mean, he looks at Chris Donovan and he goes, I mean, it's a shame he doesn't get to play because Tolo Shawunmi's been playing so well. And I mean, you can't have two nines out there in this formation. And he said guys like Babacar Niang, Amadou Dia, Mukwele Akale, Danny Fondez, Quincy Huerman, this is a chance for them to get in some minutes. And you know, there may be some teams in the USL that you got to rotate in a young guy who's inexperienced, but a lot of these guys have won championships. So it's such an interesting situation here in Lou City just because of just how deep and experienced this roster is as we take a peek at this foul.
Well, the ball was won, but it was won from behind. So there's two arguments here. Healy's saying he got the ball, yes, but when you tackle from behind, even if you get the ball, it can be deemed to be dangerous, hence the free kick.
Akale. Inaccurate on that cross, but Dia also unable to get there in time. eFootball is here. Live your dream, rep your team, and play as your favorite USL Championship club. eFootball is free to play. Download now.
Simon Burgess watching, and he must be thinking, I've made 3 changes. I brought on quality players, and Taylor Davila, Jansen Wilson, Manny Perez. They should be making a difference by now, and yet still they're battling to break down Fort Wayne, but they battled to break down Sporting Jacks last game, and it happened in the 94th minute or the 95th minute perhaps. They'll be patient, Louisville City. They will just keep going on to try and get that winning goal.
Rempel takes the real estate. Jack Thomas feeds it inside. Healy running this one down. Well, you can applaud the effort, but ultimately it was an unsuccessful endeavor from Tague Healy. I mentioned that Sporting Jacks game and coupling it with this one. And Simon Bird mentioned that, yeah, there was a little bit of irritation that they weren't able to score earlier in that game. He felt they were just lacking that final action, whether it was a good shot or one extra pass or anything along those lines. Just the execution once they got to the good moments, just it was lacking. But overall, he was pleased with the play in that game. The subs came in, made a difference, and I mean, they were very seldom at threat by Sporting Jacks, and so it seemed like at least a point was in the bank, but you want to get all 3 at home, especially when you're peppering the way you were in that game.
Yeah, they have such high standards, Louisville City, that if they drop below them, they get frustrated with themselves.
Perez. That one glanced away by Rempel.
There has been a few games. You mentioned Sporting Jacks and how long it took them to break them down. And we see a chance coming up here.
Wind-up effort, glanced away. Jeremy Garay getting in the shooting lane of that one. Getting the chance to start with Ryan Betcher out. Have a lot of experience though, Jeremy Garay, Woodbridge, Virginia. Over 100 USL Championship appearances.
Just to finish that point, they did beat Austin FC 2-1 so well, but they drew away at Loudon 3-3, lost at home to Charleston Battery.
5-5 corner kick unsuccessful.
Yeah, just to say, there's been a few matches in which they haven't been happy, but again, they have such high standards that losing to Charleston the first time in 27 home matches was a big blow for them.
Thiago Dias able to launch that one into the stands, and I hear a cheer, so I'm wondering if someone was able to catch that ball or demonstrate an athletic feat. It's always a fun time. That's part of the reason why you go to a game in person. You never know when you're going to have a ball coming flying towards you, even if you're up quite a few rows. Here's another 5-5 corner kick. Wilson ripping it in. And the decision is goal kick. The USL Championship and League One are on CBS Sports and ESPN platforms all season long. Catch live matches and expert analysis every day on the CBS Sports Golazo Network and ESPN Plus. Go to USLChampionship.com or USLLeague1.com for the complete USL TV listings.
Some of the fans there just trying to G up the Louisville City team, push them forward to get ahead, get a goal that will put them ahead. I guess these fans also are so used to success that for them what they're seeing is frustrating, and they would have probably expected a comfortable win against Fort Wayne. And it's not quite happening as yet.
This is all Fort Wayne this season has known as far as the presence of the fans in attendance, which is that it's always been enemy territory up to this point. Still waiting for their first home game, which will happen next weekend. Be able to find that one on ESPN Plus. So that being said, though, doesn't mean that everybody in attendance is anti-Fort Wayne. I think I spotted a couple of kits in the crowd. And look, there it is, the traveling regiment there. So it's not 100% negative reviews from the fans in attendance for the visitors.
They don't look happy. Maybe they're more worried, but their team has done so well. They should be smiling about that, but I think they're probably sort of concerned about how good Louisville City are and can they hold on to this draw for the full 90 minutes.
You feel like maybe the ice is thin if you're a Fort Wayne fan watching this game. You're just hoping you continue to tread lightly, and then maybe if the moment comes, find a second goal. There's Davila. This man can do some damage as he gets into the attacking third. He's also good in every other element too, but certainly a potent aspect to his game as this one. He's able to skate through, and Prinx doesn't make it very far. Perez to Davila. Last year in the USL Cup, Davila had 3 assists in the 4 matches they played. "60 minutes through this affair. Still 1-1 thanks to 2 goals in the opening 10 minutes. It was Fort Wayne who struck first. It was Recall, the man on the ball now, who opened the scoring before Duncan responded just minutes later. As a reminder, in these Prinx Tires USL Cup matches, should the score end the way it is, we would go to penalty kicks to award an extra point. Solis wasn't able to connect there. Jack Thomas, who was trying to get to the ball in time. This is a chance for Fort Wayne players to get noticed. Obviously, if you perform well in USL League One, you're going to turn some heads, but when you get the chance to play well against guys who could potentially be future teammates or future opponents at the USL Championship level, that's as good of a litmus test as any. And that's exactly what Fort Wayne wants. They want these guys to be making that jump.
Yeah, that is the aim of most players. As you work your way up the league, it'll be the same for Louisville City players when they played Austin FC. Can we impress? Can anyone catch the eye of an MLS coach? And you're right, the sort of organization at Louisville City, they're happy for you to move up a level, and I'm sure it's the same with Fort Wayne. And we've seen a number of players over the years from Louisville City. Wilson Harris was sold on. The 2 brothers.
The Winders.
Winders, very good. Josh Winder was one of them. They got sold on. So there's been some real success from Louisville City in terms of developing players. And I hasten to add that Brandon Days could be another one, just 17 years of age.
This one goes out wide to Perez. Manny Perez dancing by one defender. That was a teasing ball. The only one there, though, was Thiago Dias to lunge it away. Mukwele Akale feeds it back out to Perez. Louisville City trying to unlock this Fort Wayne team for a second time. Adams to the left-hand side. Ball sent in the middle! It's skied over top by Perez! Manny Perez with the goal right in front of him. Couldn't get the volley right.
They've been waiting for this moment, and it came absolutely perfectly. Ball in. I thought Mukakale might have got his head to it, but just goes over his head, and then from there, Manny Perez got to get over that ball and get it down. What a chance for the boys in purple there. But the pressure they were putting on was beginning to tell, and if they can keep that same level of pressure, they'll probably get more chances before this match is over.
Well, when it comes to scoring at this level, and what they were lacking for a lot of that game against Sporting Jacks was the anticipation of the moment coming. Simon Bird mentioned that the goal they scored against Sporting Jacks was what they were missing a lot of that game. You need to know what you're going to do before you get the ball. It was touch, step, strike, very quick and efficient from Jansen Wilson in that game, as Ian Abbey has to get checked up on. Here's a look at the contact. Ouch.
It was won cleanly by Manny Perez, but yeah, there was an ouch after that. They're certainly still battling off Fort Wayne, putting their bodies on the line. But I think they've got a tough 25 minutes. I'm assuming they've got a tough 25 minutes coming, Fort Wayne, because Louisville City, as you see Mike Avery having a chat with the fourth official, Louisville City are fitter. They've got some quality. They brought 3 new players off the bench. They've still got a couple more. Tola Shawamne will probably come on at some stage. Maybe Ray Serrano. They've got that depth. And that might start to tell in the last 10, 15 minutes. Fort Wayne might find themselves penned back with a lot of defending to do.
Days roll this one over to Manny Perez. And he'll send it in the middle for Davila. As you would anticipate, since he's come into the game. Well, here comes an opportunity for Fort Wayne. It's Ian Abbey. Abbey! Blocked away by Fondez. Moments after taking a collision, Ian Abbey with a big opportunity.
It was a good strike as well. Nicely saved by Danny Fondez, got his body behind it. I think it was Javier Armes here on the ball. Just waits, just puts the ball through. Perfect timing. Had to slightly sort of worsen his angle, Abbey, in order to get closer to goal. And at the goalkeeper, if he could just put it a little bit wider, it might have sneaked in. But still a decent effort from Fort Wayne. And just making the point, here I am saying they're going to be under pressure. They probably are, but it doesn't mean to say they can't nip down the other end and score a winner.
Donovan. No one was there for that one. Sliding back in and booted out by Dias. Although, of course, this is a team with a ton of brand new players. Thiago Dias, one of the few returners from the League Two days. This is his 4th season with the club in Fort Wayne. Was the captain the past 2 seasons. So, although, of course, there is a ton of new as far as this team is concerned. I mean, they're new to the professional ranks, that's for certain. Dias, a familiar name, as Akale curls it in, and it's ultimately easy pickings for Bernd Shipman.
There was a stretch there from Chris Donovan, just got his head to it. Maybe if you're stretching that match, can you try and find somebody else? But he went for goal, give him credit for that.
Abbey chesting that one down, and he's ferocious in his pursuit, maybe a bit too much so. Oh, well, there are some words being exchanged, which you always wonder about how much chit-chat's happening on the pitch amongst the players. Akale taking some contact here from Jeremy Garay, and eventually they crossed the line for our head official Thomas Snyder. Worth noting, 68 minutes into this match, it's still the same starting 11 out there for Fort Wayne. Of course, the 3 changes coming out of the halftime break for Simon Bird's side, with Davila, Perez, and Wilson coming on. Dia, just not enough juice on that pass to Jansen Wilson.
Certainly would assume that they'd make a change between the likes of Daniel Oyotunde on the 19-year-old Brit. Bring him on with some fresh legs, but this team have done so well so far. I think it's only when players get gassed that Mike Avery will make the changes, but you do need fresh legs on at some stage. Trace Terry, Jaden Smith, all players, good players you can bring on just to freshen things up for Fort Wayne.
Some of these guys have been flying around too, just trying to do anything they can to make a difference. And right on cue, Gary, here come some switches. And 2 of the names you mentioned are 2 of the names that are going to be making their way on. You see Jaden Smith going to take over for Ian Abbey, and Daniel Oyatunde, 19-year-old on for Tag Healy. That substitution is brought to you by Kentucky Lottery. Fueling imagination, funding education, Kentucky Lottery. And so, just moments after acknowledging their lack of substitutions, they then go ahead and make two. So maybe Mike Avery's got us in his ears and he thought, oh, okay, I guess now's about the right time to do this. Oyatunde, his first touches in the game. And to play it across the center, and ultimately it's cleared out. And with that, a response getting churned up by Simon Bird for Lou City. We'll see when that one ends up taking place. 20 more minutes to go. Oh. It appears people are on different pages there because the board goes up for the sub as action was happening, so the throw-in wasn't halted, and Ray Serrano will have to wait for his time to enter the pitch. Now he'll come on. Mukwele Akale will see his evening come to an end. And Serrano will make his entrance. That substitution to you by Kentucky Lottery. Fueling imagination, funding education, Kentucky Lottery. Recall receiving the throw in, and that ball makes its way out of bounds for a Lou City throw. Louisville, the 2026 USL Championship season is underway. Be sure to head to Lynn Family Stadium to watch the most storied club in league history take the pitch by purchasing tickets. Tickets are available at loucity.com/tickets. Perez going to get by Oyatunde. Keeping pace with him, but the ball is able to be released to Niang. He launched it hopefully up the pitch to Dia. Solis playing up the pitch, and Jack Thomas couldn't quite settle it down. Here's Wilson, could step into a shot here! Chest off the mark.
Jansen Wilson capable of magic at any moment, as we saw in the last match against Sporting Jacks. He's not far off here. He's allowed a little bit of space because he touches it forward. No one closes him down, and you've got to be careful doing that with Jansen Wilson. He was able to turn, touch it, set it up, pick his spot, and literally was a foot or so just wide of that post.
Already 3 goals and 2 assists in league play this season. You can tack on 2 more assists in the Lamar Hunt US Open Cup. Adams up the field, and rushing for it is Donovan. Bernd Shipman. Very well done by the veteran goalkeeper.
Well, we're getting up to the point where there's only just over 15 minutes left. And if it goes to penalties, whether they win or lose Fort Wayne, they will still take this draw as a fantastic achievement. So what can they do in those 50 minutes? Or are we going to be surprised and see the likes of Daniel Oyatunde, for example, get a winner? Just to be in this position. Again, if you'd have said to Mike Avery, 15 minutes to go, 1-1, he'd have snapped your hand off. You would have said, fantastic, yep. I'll take it. Because from here, everything's a possibility. You win, you go to penalties, and even if you lose, you still look back on this performance and go, wow, how good were Fort Wayne and how quickly we are improving. Just sort of 5 games into our professional existence.
I'll shake your hand so hard, I'll start flapping you around like a rag doll. It could be onto something here. Recall out to Smith. Smith's cross goes in! Oyatunde was there. Trying to find a stunner here.
Oh, it's a good cross in. It was whipped in with pace and beat the defenders. Just Oyatunde maybe overran it. He was closer to goal than he needed to be perhaps in that situation. But that was so close to being a great opportunity for the visiting side.
Days. Now that one glance off of a chasing Oyatunde.
Let's have a look at it again and just watch Oyatunde at the far post here. He's just got too far ahead of it. He couldn't come back. If he'd have just timed his run a little bit less, if he'd have waited and then run into the box, that could have been a deciding goal.
Donovan. Plays it back to Davila. Davila turns. Good defending from Armas. Negative space there for Taylor Davila. Solis gives it the proper boot. Perez in the middle for Davila once more. Open to find Perez there. Cutting service! And it's tapped home by Serrano. Persistence pays off for Louisville City. And perhaps a little bit of relief for the home side on top of the matter.
It's a lovely build. Taylor Davila, as always, what a ball through. Manny Perez, well done on that right-hand side. It just sneaks through the defenders. And Ray Serrano is just waiting for it patiently there. You had Jansen Wilson at the near post, Ray Serrano at the far post. They weren't going to stop every single cross, Fort Wayne. That one got through, but it starts with the brilliance of Taylor Davila, just slipping that ball through for Manny Perez to cross.
That goal brought to you by Fireball Whiskey, Ray Serrano. They've been hoping for him to find that ending product a little more often. Of course, that's a pretty easy goal for him to tap in, but you got to be at the right place at the right time and make that run and commit to it. They've liked his movement when the ball hasn't been at his feet, but they've been wanting those assists and those goals to rack up. That's certainly one way to do it. And here comes a change for Fort Wayne. Reed Sproat. He'll step on for the tall center back Juan Solis. Sproat, one of the other guys who has experience with this team, and he has it even more than Thiago Dias does. This is his 6th season with Fort Wayne. No one has appeared with this club more than Reed Sproat has. That substitution brought to you by Kentucky Lottery. Fueling imagination, funding education, Kentucky Lottery.
Well, the challenge now for Fort Wayne is you have to go forward to get the equalizer, obviously. You've got to throw some numbers forward. Are you going to get caught in the counter-attack? And that's always the concern when you've got pacey players like Jansen Wilson and Ray Serrano.
'78th minute now. So 12 plus stoppage time for the visitors to find an answer. This one trickle over to the boundary. Fans, it is time to vote on tonight's Lynn Family Vision Man of the Match. Poll will be open for the next 10 minutes. Vote now on the Lou City app. A couple of good options for Lou City fans to pick here. Obviously, we've got 2 goal scorers. Those are always pretty good options. You mentioned how impactful Taylor Davila was on that last goal. I think Manny Perez has been a pest over on that right-hand side since he subbed into the game.
Certainly has. I thought Zach Duncan's goal was, he won the ball. It was all created by himself.
They could be onto something again here. Donovan, not on the same page with Serrano. He'll be able to keep it in bounds, though. How about that challenge from JP Jordan? It's not one taken kindly by Thomas Snyder. The yellow card is brandished.
It's Ray Serrano who took the hit there, and they're calling on the physios to come, the medical staff to come and have a look.
JP Jordan, a man from Keller, Texas. Already has 2 yellow cards in his 4 league matches, and now he's got a yellow card in his first cup match.
Okay, just wonder why you need to dive in there. You can just stand up and let sort of force Ray to play it backwards. You don't need to actually make that commitment. Now you got a dangerous free kick. Kyle Adams is up for it. Carlos Miguel's there. Of course, you've got Chris Donovan, who's a natural header of the ball as well. So a few good options for the boys in purple.
10 more minutes to go in this one. First ever meeting, of course, between Louisville City and Fort Wayne. It'll be Jansen Wilson on the service from the free kick. This free kick brought to you by Fifth Third Bank. Wilson, driven inside! And it makes its way through! They've now got the comfort goal. Louisville City up 3-1.
Well, that might have just gone straight in from the free kick, but it was Kyle Adams at the near post who puts off Bernd Shipman. Very difficult for the goalkeeper when you've got a player in front of you. Does he get a touch on it? In the end, I think he doesn't, and it goes past the goalkeeper. So Jansen Wilson might get credit for this. If Kyle Adams didn't make a touch, does he? Let's have a look. Maybe a lock of hair did, but it's hard to see. But for Bernd Shipman, he had to make a decision. He thought there would be a flick on. He didn't go to where the ball was going, and it goes straight into the back of the net.
So whether it touched Adams or not, I think he just shook his head there. I think people are asking him, did you get it? He's going, nah, I didn't get it. But whether he got it or not, contact-wise, it's kind of irrelevant. The fact of the matter is he ran in and had an impact on the play. Right now, our stats are telling us that it's a Kyle Adams goal, but consider me a little skeptical.
Yeah, no, I think it'll probably be reversed, especially if the player himself says, look, I didn't get a touch, but he'll take the glory for the moment, Kyle Adams. And we featured him at the start of the program as the leader of the team, as someone who's there game after game, Mr. Reliable. What a fantastic player he has been, and once again, he proves so invaluable.
That goal brought to you by Fireball Whiskey. Kyle Adams, 2025 USL Championship Defender of the Year. And now, this one seemingly now decided. You go up 1 goal and you think, well, Fort Wayne can still find an equalizer here and keep themselves in it, but now a 2-goal difference for Louisville City, and they've got the comfortable advantage that they were looking for, and maybe for Simon Bird's side, a little more nervy than they were hoping this game would be. On the flip side, I think Fort Wayne can look at this match and how it unraveled for, well, the early 80 or so minutes, about 75 minutes, and you're thinking, hey, we went toe-to-toe with some giants.
Well, given that this home record up until the Charleston Battery match, the last home match before Sporting Jacks, 26 matches unbeaten. It's no disgrace to come here and get beaten. And as you say, quite rightly, 75 minutes or thereabouts, they are almost the equal of Louisville City in terms of dealing with it and holding them and stopping them. But in the end, they just got too much. The boys in purple have. Sporting Jacks found it out last match. You can't stop these players of this quality. If it's not Jansen Wilson, it's Manny Perez down the right-hand side. It's Taylor Davila with his fantastic passing. And then in the end, it's big centre-backs like Kyle Adams who come and cause a problem at a free kick. So in the end, it's a tough day, a tough lesson for Fort Wayne, but they will take so much out of a fantastic 75 minutes with a squad that has got players out injured, doesn't have much depth, wasn't even able to rotate many players until towards the end of the match. So I think it's been a really, really good performance by Mike Avery's side. But nonetheless, Louisville City just too good.
Running forward now is Niang. Abakar Niang. Tap back to him. Niang! Well, that had some venom, but ultimately it's off the target as we now get a couple more substitutions here. 2 of which for Fort Wayne and 1 for Lou City. So first we'll start with the visitors. We've got Anthony Hernandez subbing on, along with Trace Terry. Jeremy Garay, his first start with the club, comes to an end, and Jack Thomas will also take his leave, as we also see the debut of Cameron Duke for Lou City. Last played for Hartford Athletic, but a guy with over 50 appearances at the Major League Soccer level, Cameron Duke. So just another experienced player on this Lou City team. Shocker. These substitutions, by the way, are brought to you by Kentucky Lottery. Fueling imagination, funding education, Kentucky Lottery. Perez able to take this one away from Oyatunde. And now it'll be launched out wide to Wilson. Armas, a lot of real estate. He'll take it. Reedsbro pulls it back to Diash. That's a center back duo that is very familiar with each other. Louisville ticket packages for the 2025 season are now live. Join the boys in purple all year long with season tickets starting at just $15 per game. Visit LouCity.com to learn more. And who wouldn't want to go to a game at Lynn Family Stadium?
It's always a great vibe. They're not the biggest crowd today, but in some matches when that place is packed, it is pumping. Only thing is that the next 2 matches though are away from home. They've got Houston away in the Open Cup. Now that's a big, big match coming up. Then Detroit City away in USL Championship, not an easy one. And then Pittsburgh will be the next match here at Lynn Family Stadium.
It's always a good time when the Riverhounds come to town to play Lou City.
What a history between those two.
Also talk about role reversal. It'll happen again for Lou City after being the big boys in this one. They once again become the plucky underdogs for that game against Houston.
They do. It'd be interesting to see who Simon Bird picks to start that match, because obviously he'll be going with his best 11. And, you know, does that involve the likes of Chris Donovan? I just don't think he's done enough for me tonight. Chances are Tolo Shawamni will start that match. Like to see Jansen Wilson in there. Ray Serrano, after scoring, should get his place back. So, yeah, that battle for places will continue. And Evan Davila might come back in as well, given how well he played against Sporting Jacks.
Some would call it an embarrassment of riches.
I wouldn't be embarrassed. I think I'd be delighted to have it.
You're shouting it from the rooftops.
Absolutely. Look at our squad, because you're going to get injuries. You're going to get players off form. And the one thing you can be assured about, unless there's a really bad run of injuries, with Lou City, the 11 they put out will be top players, because they have such depth that they can get through the injury problems, they can get through the out of form problems, and always have players that are really, really good on the pitch.
That one just a little bit too far ahead. And all right, Gary, I need a little bit of a drum roll here, because we actually have our man of the match winner. The Lynn Family Vision man of the match is also our player to watch, Kyle Adams.
All right, okay.
Stepping in, the captain. Did he score? Did he not score?
He made it happen either way.
Yes, sir. The people have spoken, regardless of if he scored or not. We'll get one more free kick here in the 90th minute.
There's a yellow card shown there as well, but good battling by Lou City in these dying moments. And it's another thing about this side that Fort Wayne can learn from, is even when they're winning, they still battle on. Danny Cruz created that in this side, this fight, this this battle right up into the last kick of the match. They will keep fighting you, and that's a quality that I'm sure Mike Avery has installed in Fort Wayne and would like to keep growing with time.
That yellow card for Thiago Dias, presented by Alpha Energy Solutions, as we now get this free kick brought to you by Fifth Third Bank. And there you have it. Stoppage time is presented by the Louisville Muhammad Ali International Airport. And that one will curl off target, very close.
A good save from the keeper. Brent Shipman just tipping it over. I think it was that man there, Brandon Daves, who got the header in.
And it'll be a by-fight corner kick. Brent Shipman once again doing well there. Jansen Wilson from the left corner flag, whipped in and out of danger. Serrano trying to swerve around his defender. Trace Terry, the one tracking him down. Good recognition there from Hernandez. Davila was not too far away. He was on it like a hawk. Transition opportunity now for Fort Wayne. Smith. Now it's 1v2. Jaden Smith gets the cross away. And it'll trickle into a pool of purple jerseys. Oh yeah, Tunde. Hilly on recall. Really set this game ablaze in the early stages. And since then, 3 unanswered for Lou City in response.
His goal was so well taken. That was a highlight for me. Another highlight has been Javier Amas in midfield for Fort Wayne. I thought he has been excellent. Some great little touches. Simon Bird just checking maybe some of the stats and data, but most important, 3-1 up, and he can relax and very soon start getting his mind lined up for the big Open Cup match against Houston.
Wilson not able to skate that one by. Smith. Able to roll it to Anthony Hernandez, and once again Fort Wayne will see if they can get one more go at goal before the final whistle sounds. Hernandez up further. Jordan playing it. Daniel Oyatunde.
By the way, Daniel Oyatunde, interesting story about him. He went to Eton College, which in England, in London, or just outside London, is considered one of the, if not the elite college or school in the country. Most of the British prime ministers have come from Eton. And for him to get in is amazing. And it's not often that players or young kids who go to that sort of school end up playing professional sports. So he's a really unusually talented kid.
Very bright, as Mike Avery described, as you would ascertain from that information, as the cross will sail and not end up doing anything dangerous. He said, well, I mean, he probably could have done anything he wanted with his life, so I'm happy he chose to play football.
It's got to be a very proud man there, Mike Avery. Yes, last 15 minutes, it just ran away from Fort Wayne, but it's just, given how short a time they've been together as a professional side, this is their 5th match, all 5 away from home. I think they've done a fantastic job at Fort Wayne, their coaching staff, ownership, and everybody. And what a good performance they've put on here today. Top quality from a League One side.
And in the midst of that 5-game road trip to start the season. You could attest to this better than I can, but those road games are how you really build that camaraderie with a group. You know, you're on the bus, you're on the plane, you're hanging out at the hotel before a game, and where you're really grinding it out and trying to find results as a team. And it's parried out for a corner kick. Perhaps one last chance in this one for Fort Wayne. Looking for something to take home with them. They've got their home opener coming next weekend. So big game for them on the docket. Meanwhile, of course, that big game against the Dynamo on the docket for Louisville City.
Not much space around Danny Fernandez, making it very difficult for the keeper to come and catch the ball. All those orange shirts.
Rempel curling it inside. And the final whistle sounds. There was tension throughout the game. But at the end of the day, Louisville City find reprieve and all 3 points.
I think Danny Fernandez felt that he was knocked over the line there by Reed Sproat, and he went after him straight away, which shouldn't raise your hands. The moment you raise your hands, you're moving into red card territory, so the referee just sorting it all out. Managers seem to be on good terms. Not so sure about the players, though.
So, after 90 minutes, and a lot of those 90 being drawn up at 1-1 apiece, it is the experienced Louisville City that come out at the end of it, as well, there's some unfriendly conclusions amongst some of the players. But with that in mind, we will step aside. When we come back, we will have our post-game thoughts here on ESPN Plus. 3-1, your final score. Louisville City claim all 3 points.
Why choose between getting things done and doing things with the one?
America drives Toyota.
The #1 selling retail brand for the past 14 years.
Leading the way, Toyota Camry, America's best-selling car.
Now it's 100% hybrid with more standard power, better handling, and available all-wheel drive.
This Camry XSE gets 47 mpg, and it comes with a 12.3-inch touchscreen.
And Camry's built right here in the USA.
Get a new 26 Camry with 4.99 APR financing, or lease this Camry for $289 a month.
Toyota.
Commonwealth Credit Union is proud to be the exclusive volunteer partner for the 2026 ISCO Championship, but we need your help. If you have a passion for golf and want an up-close experience on the PGA Tour, register to become a volunteer today. Volunteers will receive tournament merch, complimentary food and non-alcoholic beverages while you're working, and full access to the tournament even when you're not. To register for the 2026 ISCO Championship Volunteer Program, visit our website for more information. Commonwealth Credit Union. Here, we see you differently.
Decisions are made every day affecting our economy, tourism, and how we get around.
See this building behind me at 4th Street and Liberty? That's going to be a brand new JW Marriott.
At WDRB, we're sure to follow everything that happens in Kentucky and southern Indiana.
Farmers from all over the world, Australia, China, Sweden, Switzerland. We have fans from all 50 states and 50 countries.
So whether it be a big hotel announcement or a large event that affects a smaller business, WDRB has you covered.
We welcome you back here to Louisville for one more time here this evening. Louisville City victorious 3-1 in the opening round of the Prinx Tires USL Cup over brand new League One side Fort Wayne FC. Mark Schoenster, Gary Bailey with you here on the show. Wrapping everything up for you here. Let's take a look at the full-time highlights. And it goes pretty end-to-end as far as the timestamps are concerned here, because we have got opening action, a lot of tension, and then closing action in this game, and it starts with Lilian Ricol.
It's a lovely ball over the top from Javier Amos, and then he just beats off Brandon Days there, does Lilian Ricol, knocks it into the ground, and that goes over the goalkeeper, Danny Fernandez, for a real shock start to this match.
But just moments later, the counter response from Zach Duncan.
Diaz trying to play out the back. Zach Duncan reads it brilliantly and then slots it into the back of the net. He made that goal, he finished that goal, and he punished Fort Wayne for trying to be a little bit too clever playing out the back under big pressure.
And then we have our move of the game presented by Toyota, the game winner from Ray Serrano.
Manny Perez with a cross. Ray Serrano just waiting for that ball to get through the defense. Taylor Davila starts it with a very incisive pass. Lovely move by Louisville City.
And then one more to take home with them. Does he score? Does he touch it? Doesn't really matter to the captain, but it's 3-1.
He said he didn't touch it. Jansen Wilson's ball eluding the goalkeeper there, and it eluded him because Kyle Adams was in the way. Look at this.
Right in the face of Bernd Schlittmann, and that would be the final score. Here are the final numbers here. As you would anticipate, they lean in favor of Lou City, but a hard-fought game from Fort Wayne nonetheless as well.
Yeah, 3 shots on target to 5 is not bad. I mean, they were certainly in this match right up until the mid-70th or 75th minute, thereabouts. And I think that is massive, massive credit. In the end, it was just a little bridge too far for them, but the stats aren't bad at all. And as we said before, of the last, I think, 28 teams, 27 have not managed to get a win. Only Charleston Battery recently have come to Lynn Family Stadium and got a win. So no disgrace. I thought a fantastic performance by Fort Wayne. But in the end, Lou City, as always, too good for the opposition at home.
Now, let's take a look at the standings here in this group. Lexington able to beat Ford Madison. Union Omaha, for the second time in a row this season, have beaten Indy 11. They did it in the Open Cup, and they've done it again today. So the League One side trying to stay dancing with the rivals in Kentucky between Louisville and Lexington. Should be interesting as we get future iterations of these rounds in the Prinx Tires USL Cup. Of course, Detroit City with 0 points because they're the odd man out this opening weekend, so they will also have ample opportunity to be in the mix here. Well, folks, we appreciate you tuning in. There were a bevy of games that kicked off at 7 p.m., so if you rode with us throughout this one, we're glad to have you for the ride. Your final score, 3-1, Lou City victorious over Fort Wayne FC. For our entire broadcasting crew, for Gary Bailey, I'm Mark Schoenster saying so long, have a good night, and we will see you next time on ESPN+.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent of the United Soccer League.